Mr. President, we left off speaking about African countries and doing what's best for them. What would you tell those who disagree with your definition of democracy?
Well, my definition of democracy is not my invention. I'm defining it based on what we've been told that democracy is, including those who raise questions here and there that they still agree on certain. Democracy is about freedom of choice, the kind of life, political life, countries, people, individuals live. It's freedom, it's choice, it's the practice. If that is the case, unless the definition has changed over time, I've never known of any place, if you know or anybody knows will tell me, where democracy has succeeded by introducing those ideas from the outside, or where the principles, the ideas have been dictated from the outside. I don't know of any country. In fact, even if we leave Africa alone, that has been more or less categorized and condemned to lack of democracy, I don't think there's any place where you can have it from the outside. I don't know of any place. The other important thing about those freedoms and choices and practices and so on is the context of every country, the political context, whether historical, cultural, and so on and so forth. You will see different practices and lines of thinking that are going to be different from one place to another. So if that be the case, I have tried to understand and ask myself, what is it that is practiced in this country, in Rwanda, that is different or that is the opposite of that description I have given? I don't see it. Because Rwandans are the ones to make those choices, to do all kinds of things they want to do. They have the freedom to do it. But you find in most cases, the complaints are from the outside. Even for the people they want to promote inside, they are still the ones who raise the complaints about somebody. And that somebody, more or less, becomes their choice, not the choice of the Rwandans. And if it is the process also to qualify to do whatever one has a choice to be involved in, of course, like anywhere else, you will find that to qualify to be something, there are criteria that are followed. So it is easy for somebody from outside to question the criteria. But questioning them based on what? I think there is even double standards. There is even It's really arrogance. It's just, for example, in fact, those who make, where the criticisms originate from, they will say, let me talk about their own place where they come from, in their countries. You know very well, you read it like we follow things. They have strict rules, and they even say they don't want anybody to interfere in their politics. When it comes to elections, if you say anything about their politics from the outside or try to, they will kill you for it. There's no question about it. But they find it easy to get involved in other people's politics. So what sense does it make? You have seen, I'm sure, they even have closed or they will close media channels. And they will say, they are...
even social media.
Everything. Even social media, as long as they say, this one is influenced by Russia or by China, or so they will close it. So, but if interfering in other people's affairs is wrong, what gives you the right to go and get involved in other people's affairs? What is the basis? Then you'll find the degree of success for some leaders in some places, or their chances to go through the elections, will depend on how much money they have raised. So democracy has become about money, how much money you raise. Honestly, if we raise the money here and that is what we depend on to go through, they blame you for it. They say, you see, you had no following, you had to buy people. So for me, it shouldn't be. For them, that is what they're entitled to. What? I don't understand. Or they say, you have been there too long. But that's none of your business. It's the business of these people here. Like in my case, honestly, and I will say it on the camera. These last two parts of a couple of years of my being here has been dictated to me by you people. For me, I have no problem.
No, it was a request, not a dictatorship one.
Well, in a sense, when the request becomes compelling and it's like you have no other choice, it becomes a dictate. That's why I was saying that. But I understand the context of it. I understand people, why they make certain choices, and that's what lowers my sense of urgency to do other things. Otherwise, it looks like I'm abandoning. And if anything goes wrong, if we went back to the history we left behind, then they say, you see, this is a man who caused it by refusing. In fact, like in 94. In 94, I actually refused to be president. I think we have had that conversation before.
Yeah.
You ask, you have asked, if anybody tells you a different story, then you can know I was not telling the truth. But I refused to be president. And said, I can play other roles and somebody else will. When things went wrong...
And they say it's political calculation.
Right, but still, when things went wrong and the president who had selected was removed, there are many people who came to me and blamed me and say, you caused the problem. Because we told you, you refused, and now you see what you... So anyway, that's a long story. I mean, not to go into too much of that, but I thought it was important to conclude on this issue of democracy by saying what I've just said. But yeah, but these are things. This is life, the politics, democracy, all kinds of things. And there's nobody who is not going to be there. Actually, those who blame me or blame Rwanda are blamed also in their own countries or in other countries for one thing or another. So, but they are there. They exist. Some of them actually are leaders of their countries in spite of their very low ratings. But that is democracy, I'm told. So, yeah, but maybe they use other means to be there. But you are seeing the expressions as they change in many places. I was following the recent European Parliament elections. Maybe you did. The changes that are happening and the people being thrown out of office, and they go kicking and screaming and crying. I mean, it is an expression of these people. They sat over and so it came to their turn. And some of these very negative people against us actually lost. So they want me to lose like they did. So, but good for them.
Yes, Your Excellency, do you think that mentality those from outside have of focusing on the number of years spent in power instead of focusing on what is being done in those years?
You see, I also think, I don't think it is even correct. Let me add something else. I've seen in some places. And why they make it just even for... Why don't they make it for other office holders at different level? Why don't they make it for... Because you find in some big countries, you find a speaker of a parliament who is very powerful, can last 30 years plus. And after that, this is somebody who is being elected. Okay, that's a choice of how the process goes in the process. But why wouldn't I have asked a question to ask and say, why? Why is it you that you are always coming and you are always being for 30 years? I could even say, oh no, but they are younger people, they are more capable people who are there. Why don't you allow them? Why don't you step back? You know, the answer will be, they will say, oh yeah, but I'm being elected. Yeah. But if you think staying too long is a very bad thing, you can easily offer to step away from that and allow somebody else to. So they use just one place because they decided so, because they determined so at some point in their past. And then they are trying to say everybody must follow that. if they had decided that even for a speaker or for a member of parliament, you can't serve for so long, they would be forcing us. They would be asking, saying, no, the speakers cannot stay too long, or the MPs cannot stay, just because they decided or they had decided.
Excellency, they put the debate in the other side. They say, for example, African elections are not trustable, but theirs are trustable. This is the...
Fine. Okay. If it is not, if elections in Africa is not to be trusted, why do you even trust the first term? Yes, even for the first 5 years, you could say, no, you don't deserve it because you cheated or you, or you did this and that. In fact, by the way, they even accept those who cheated elections. You see, this is the whole thing. Even when they know that somebody cheated, or actually there was no elections, just somebody declared himself. We have many cases, even in our region. They will be quiet. So is that support for democracy? It doesn't make sense. Most of the things they said just don't make sense. They even make them look ridiculous.
Thank you, Excellency.
Murakoze, Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, twabisezeranije